This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Wendy Griffith. Well, a huge decision today in Michigan regarding contested votes there. Election officials debating to certify votes or call for an audit. It's a move that is significant for election canvassers there who've on both sides talked about their votes and a fair election being at jeopardy. The votes weren't certified originally in Wayne County because two canvassers said they were bullied to certify the results and were not given fair access to the vote count. We will talk later in this newscast with Wayne County, Michigan canvasser Monica Palmer to find out more if a decision is made in time. If not, please follow us on cbnnews.com for the latest on the story. There is more fighting in court still underway by the Trump team. The big question, do they have evidence of election fraud or not? Their legal effort was rocked when they distanced themselves from high-powered attorney Sidney Powell. Caitlin Burke has the story.
A high-ranking source close to the Trump legal team tells CBN News that attorney Sidney Powell no longer has a role because her claims went beyond evidence that the legal team had either seen or could prove in court.
Powell repeatedly has said that she has the evidence to overturn the presidential election results. But a senior administration official told the Washington Examiner, quote, "Sidney has made these claims, but she has not shown, to my knowledge, evidence to support them, not to the campaign and not to the White House." An email Sunday from the Trump campaign states Sidney Powell is practicing law on her own. She is not a member of the Trump legal team. She is also not a lawyer for the president in his personal capacity. In an email to the Wall Street Journal, Powell said, quote, "I agree with the statement today. I will represent #WeThePeople and seek the truth. I intend to expose all the fraud and let the chips fall where they may. We will not allow the foundations of this great republic to be destroyed by abject fraud." The president's legal team suffering a legal setback Saturday when a federal judge ruled against their suit in Pennsylvania. They're appealing to circuit court. Constitutional scholar and attorney Alan Dershowitz says the president still has several constitutional paths to victory.
For example, in Pennsylvania, they have two very strong legal arguments. One, that the courts changed what the legislature did about counting ballots after the end of Election Day. That's a winning issue in the Supreme Court. I don't necessarily support it, but it's a winning issue in the Supreme Court. And Justice Alito has already hinted that's a winning issue. They also have a winning issue in the Supreme Court on equal protection, that some counties allowed flawed ballots to be cured while others didn't.
Meanwhile, the Trump campaign is also requesting another recount in Georgia.
The biggest challenge in contesting this election is time, and it's running out. The Electoral College is set to vote on December 14th, just 3 weeks away. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Thanks, Caitlin. Evangelist Franklin Graham is once again calling America to prayer over this election. He posted on Facebook, quote, "As we wait for the election results to be finalized, we need to pray. If there was fraud, let's pray that God would reveal it and that those responsible would be found out. On the other hand, if there was no fraud, pray that God would make that known as well. The American people need to know the truth." Graham also asked those reading his post, several hundreds of thousands, if they would share it and ask others to pray as well. Many well-known Christian prophets in recent months declared Donald Trump would win a second term. While some now doubt that, others, like intercessory prayer teacher Dutch Sheets, are calling for believers to stand firm with the prophets. Paul Strand explains how some believers are responding.
A number of Christian leaders who feel this election isn't over yet felt called by the Lord recently to come to the headwaters of the Allegheny here in northern Pennsylvania. Why here?
There are 4 river streams that go from here, 4 directions, just like in Eden, to the nation.
And from this state, the Declaration of Independence and Constitution that enshrine our liberty and inalienable rights flowed to the rest of the country. Dutch Sheets felt called to come here, pray, and hear from God.
The prophetic picture of the water going from here to the nation, taking what was birthed in this state. We're going to tap into that.
These prayer warriors who gathered at this Coudersport church with Sheets believe issues facing our country are much more than just who's the president. They believe if fraud and corruption can steal an election, it could steal the very culture that protects our liberties and rights.
Why would we not want to fight for truth?
For a time such as this, we raise a flag for truth, and we raise a flag of judgment tonight over fraud, and we raise a flag of judgment tonight over corruption. We say tonight, truth will prevail and run in the streets of the United States of America.
And we declare that He, in His light, is bringing all the hidden works of darkness out into the open.
We're going to enforce the victory of Calvary, and we're going to decree prophetically what God's been saying.
There shall be a great release of redemption and glory in this land.
Sheet shared with the crowd and the nearly 500,000 people who've watched the live stream of this event what God told him 20 years ago.
I must have this nation. I'm going to send a great revival. I'm going to save America.
Now watch me change this nation and bring her back on course.
The angels, God, from the Allegheny region, Lord, the angels from Pennsylvania, the angels that walked with William Penn, walked with George Washington, walked with Thomas Paine. We just decree these angels are released into the nation tonight.
Sheet says Christians who believe the prophets about this election can't give up, but must pray and stand in faith.
He works through us, and He honors the free will He gave us. And so what He wants to do on the earth, He does it through people.
Many now feel that controversies over this election will be settled in courts by judges or justices. But those at this prayer meeting were appealing to the one true judge in the highest court of all. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Coudersport, Pennsylvania.
Amen, Paul. Thank you for that report. Well, some good news in the battle against COVID-19. Once vaccines from drug companies are fast-tracked approved, the drugs will be distributed within days, and Americans can be inoculated in large numbers. Operation Warp Speed Chief Scientific Advisor Dr. Moncef Slaoui told CNN he believes that will result in a herd immunity of 70% of Americans immunized. He also said he believes America will see relief from the virus by May of 2021. That's good news. He believes the vaccine will be as safe as any other, despite the limitation with currently with the trials. Well, coming up, a surprise meeting between Israel and Saudi Arabia, what it could mean for the two nations, the United States, and the world.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug-of-war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 9:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
A potentially huge development out of the Middle East, a possible peace deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia. CBN's Chris Mitchell brings us the story and the possibilities of what could come out of that meeting.
The positive signal that Saudi Arabia could soon strike its own peace deal with Israel is this landmark interview carried on the Arab news channel Al Arabiya. Saudi Arabia's former ambassador to the U.S., Prince Bandar bin Sultan, condemning Palestinian reaction to the treaty known as the Abraham Accords.
I have heard shocking statements quoted from the Palestinian leadership. At first, I refused to believe what I heard. Then, a day or two later, I saw it with my own eyes on TV.
Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas accused the Gulf states of betraying his people, and Chief Negotiator Saeed Erekat called the treaty a poison stab in the back.
Their transgression against the Gulf states' leadership with this reprehensible discourse is entirely unacceptable.
Prince Bandar then listed the Palestinian betrayals of Saudi Arabia and Gulf states, specifically Yasser Arafat's support of Iraq's Saddam Hussein after he attacked Kuwait in the 1991 Gulf War.
The interview by Prince Bandar with Al Arabiya was a breakthrough. It was a ground-shaking interview because what you have is a former, very senior Saudi official, not current, but very well respected, and he blasted in no uncertain terms the current leadership of the Palestinian Authority, particularly Mahmoud Abbas.
UAE political analyst Dr. Najat Al-Saeed says it also shows Saudi Arabia's frustration with Palestinian leaders.
What I'm sure about, what has been applied for the past years will never be applied now, because basically it failed. And they show, and the reward of the Palestinian Authority was an attack and was siding with their enemies. Before was like people like Saddam Hussein, and now with Turkey and Iran, who are like a main threat to the Gulf region. They are siding with them against the Gulf.
Middle East expert Joel Rosenberg has led several evangelical delegations to the Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia.
I think that we are actually trending towards a dramatic development of normalization, full peace treaty between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the State of Israel. I know that for many that seems premature and it seems even far-fetched. I think that is absolutely going to happen. I think it's a matter of time.
Al-Saeed says as leader of the Muslim world and home to Mecca, Saudi Arabia has unique circumstances.
It's not only a matter of a country and its people like UAE and Bahrain. It's more than that because of its weight in the region, whether from the Arab perspective and the Muslim perspective.
Saudi Arabia provided a key sign when it gave the green light for Israeli aircraft to fly through its airspace. Rosenberg sees the Abraham Accords as a turning point for a country where 70% of the population is under 35, with many looking for change.
I think the main issue here is not whether the royals in Riyadh want to make peace with Israel. The question is, how long will it take to continue to sort of warm up the culture to think it through? It's such a huge breakthrough, and I think it's creating a conversation that's going on inside the kingdom that is going to help lay the groundwork for what will be the biggest development. I mean, there's no peace treaty that's bigger than a Saudi-Israeli peace deal, but I think it's coming.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. Still ahead, what actor Kurt Russell thinks about celebrities mixing into politics. His comments may surprise you.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Actor Kurt Russell is weighing in on Hollywood's obsession with politics. It's a story we're following with FaithWire.com. Trey Goins-Phillips joins us now with more. Welcome, Trey.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, tell us, what did Kurt Russell say? He definitely isn't following the culture in Hollywood, is he?
So Kurt Russell did an interview with the New York Times to promote his new Netflix movie, The Christmas Chronicles 2, and he was asked about politics because in the past he said that entertainers should steer clear of politics, and he doubled down on that, saying that really we're supposed to be entertainers. He described himself as a court jester. He said, and if we start getting into hot-button issues and we isolate portions of our audience, we lose kind of our power to be entertainers. We lose our platform as entertainers, which is what he's there to do.
You know, I absolutely agree with him, because I know personally when I watch a movie, if someone has been very vocal about their beliefs, it sort of either taints it for me or makes them less believable in that role. Well, tell us about the latest with Charlie Brown's Christmas airing on networks this year. Will we see Charlie Brown?
So it's been kind of a back and forth. In October at FaithWire.com, we reported about Apple TV acquiring the exclusive rights to the series. That blew up on social media. There were so many people upset to know that the decades-long tradition of watching those holiday specials on TV was not going to happen this year. But as it turns out, Apple has inked a deal with PBS and PBS Kids, and the Christmas and Thanksgiving special this week will actually both be airing on publicly accessible television, so people can breathe a sigh of relief about that, and they can head over to faithwire.com and can get the times and dates for all of that.
Okay, on PBS. Thank goodness. Well, thank God for PBS then.
Yes.
You guys also have an interesting story about Santa and COVID-19. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so a lot of people were concerned because Santa Claus is kind of in the higher. He eats a lot of cookies, and he's not necessarily the healthiest person. So he's a little bit overweight. He's a little bit older. So he was in a high risk category. But Dr. Anthony Fauci determined last week that he's actually immune because he's done a good job of isolating in the North Pole. So kids don't need to worry about that on Christmas morning. Santa Claus is still on the job and will be traveling around the world on Christmas Eve.
That is a big sigh of relief. And of course, it's very cold in the North Pole, and they say that COVID doesn't. No, I'm sorry. COVID doesn't like the hot. It doesn't like the heat. But anyway, he's immune. So we have it straight from Dr. Fauci. Excellent and great news. We all needed that. Trey Goins-Phillips, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Wendy.
Coming up, we'll take you to a different kind of turkey farm where these Thanksgiving birds are grown the old-fashioned way with better flavor, and they're better for you. Stick around.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Watch Studio 5 Wednesday night at 9:30.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream, the chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities, the chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Check out the CBN News Daily Rundown podcast each weekday with me, Caitlin Burke. Click on the show tab at cbnnews.com where you can listen and subscribe.
Well, everybody's talking turkey this week, and so are we. Lori Johnson brings us the story of one family farm that turns out all-natural turkeys that will take you back to the way these big birds used to be raised.
We have, a number of older folks who come and buy from us, and they say, this tastes like the chicken that Grandma used to make, and it tastes like, it reminds me of the bacon we had when I was little.
Turkeys are for sale here just once a year. Part of that is because of the Wilsons' approach. It took about 11 months to raise this year's class of 350 broad-breasted white turkeys. That compares to just a few months for commercially raised birds.
These turkeys have a great life soaking up all this fresh air and sunshine. They eat grass, clover, all kinds of bugs, and their food supply is always plentiful because this big pen is moved to a different location every day.
The Wilsons like to refer to these as pasture-raised turkeys, not free-range. They say the term free-range is misleading because according to the USDA, producers only need to provide access to outside, which means cooped-up turkeys can merely be given a tiny door they never even go through. Because of this label confusion and growing concern over much of the food industry, consumers are turning to locally produced food in great numbers. Robin Barnard is a loyal customer who sees both the health and flavor benefits.
It's very good. You know, it takes a little longer to cook it. I think the meat's more dense, but it's very good. It definitely has a different taste to it, much better flavor. And then, of course, I use the carcass to make the soup, you know, the stock after that.
Turkey is one of the healthiest foods around, with benefits that can be enjoyed all year. Those include reduced LDL or bad cholesterol, lean protein, niacin, vitamins B6, B12, and zinc. It can also help with cancer prevention and mood enhancement from high levels of the amino acid tryptophan. Pasture-raised turkeys also have an especially healthy balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fats and are even lower in fat and calories than industrially raised turkeys.
The demand for local, natural food is increasing so rapidly, the Wilsons are trying to spread the message and encourage other people to start their own small farm.
The Wilsons were city folk just 8 years ago, eating lots of processed food. 4 of the kids had asthma, which the Wilsons say disappeared when they stopped eating food laced with chemicals. In addition to farming, they also learned lots of other people were yearning for a clean diet, too.
As we started to raise it for ourselves and then let our friends try, and, you know, it grew very quickly. For a startup business, within about 3 or 4 years, Scott was able to leave his full-time job. That's and support a family of 11. That's almost unheard of in a new business.
The kids are now homeschooled, so the family is together. They get lots of exercise and have plenty of responsibility, including nurturing what will be the main course for hundreds of Thanksgiving dinners. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
That's the way it should be, living off the land. That's the way God intended it. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or online at cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen today. Just email us at newswatch@cbn.com, or you can reach out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope you'll join us next time. From all of us here, have a great day. God bless.